Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I am the owner of Iowa Yorkie Babies. And today we're going to go through what is going to be in your take-home packet and what you will get when you pick up your puppy from us. Part of the reason that I do this beforehand is because once you get here, you're going to be super excited about your puppy, and a lot of times you might retain like half of what I say, and I feel like half is on a good day. When you get here, I want you to be excited about your puppy and not necessarily be worried about the paperwork aspect. So we're just going to go through that with you now. And if you have questions, you can email me, you can text me them, or you can write them down and we can talk about them on pickup day. But either way, let's get started with what's in your take-home packet. So, since you're getting this video or you're watching this video, that means that you have gotten your pickup appointment ready, and either you are going to have your contract in a few days or you have already gotten it. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to sign your contract. You do get a copy of that with my signature on it. That's in your take-home packet. And then the next thing that we're going to sign is this little piece of paper. And basically all that is like a recap of the contract, but things that I like to say out loud. So they're going to be, you have to take your puppy to the vet within 3 days of picking him or her up, and then you will mail me via the post office a copy of the receipt showing that your puppy was there. Okay, so this is super important because I tell you in the very first email, like, hey, your puppy needs to go to the vet. So I do not want anybody shocked that this is again brought up and put in the contract. So you're going to take your puppy to the vet. You're going to mail me back something showing that they were there, and that just says, my side says, yep, your puppy was healthy, and then your side says, yep, your puppy was healthy, and that actually starts your health guarantee. Okay? And then the next thing that's on this little recap of the contract says that if you can't keep your puppy for any reason, they come back to me. So you cannot resell, rehome, or drop your puppy off in a shelter for any reason. We take back our puppies no matter what the circumstances, and so our expectation is that you do not rehome, resell, or drop them off in a shelter. We will always take them back. And then the next thing that I say out loud is regarding spaying and neutering. So all of our puppies come with a spay and neuter contract unless you have talked about that with me prior. So I'll tell you when the deadlines for that is, and with the Yorkies, it is an age and a weight, whichever comes last. So that is on here, and I'll just tell you, for females it's 12 months, for males it's 18 months, and both are 4 pounds or whichever comes last. So I want them to be as old as they can be and as big as they can be before we spay and neuter. And that really is for a couple different reasons, but the most important one I feel is the sedation, the anesthesia, to put a puppy under for a surgery, or I guess at this point they're not a puppy, but to sedate a Yorkie, such a small dog, comes with a lot more risks than like my Berners, for example. And so we just want to make sure that they're as big and as safe as they can before we spay and neuter. So that's one thing that you'll sign. That's the last thing that you'll sign, actually. And you get a copy of that as well. The next thing I'm going to do is invite you to our private Facebook group. And it's called the Burner Babies Family. And it will have your answers to get into the group right here. So basically what that group is everybody who has adopted a puppy from me, from Burner Babies or Iowa Yorkie Babies, has been invited to this group. I started it, I think, in 2020. And right away I had like 200 members join, because I've been doing this for a really long time. And so I think we have like 300 or 400 members now. So it's really exciting. And so the more that people have gotten word that, hey, this group exists, the more we have like our older dogs joining, and then of course the new puppies joining as well. So this is a great page to like post pictures or ask questions, things like that. So it's a really fun group, and it can be addicting because it's pretty awesome to watch all the puppies grow up. The next thing you're gonna get are these two things. This is obviously backwards for privacy reasons, but this is going to be your puppy's shot and deworming record. I do not keep a copy of this. I give this to you, mostly because the shots come with like little stickers, and so the originals go in here with the puppy. they go with the puppy. And then this is a health certificate stating that I took your puppy to the vet and he or she is nice and healthy. And that is done usually a few days before pickup. And then again, this is the shot and deworming record. Super, uber important that you keep hold of this, okay? And take this to the vet appointment with you. So the next things that I'm going to go over, I only printed off the first page of everything. And that was really just to give you an idea of what is in the packet. So the very first thing that you'll see is called my transition letter, and it starts with congratulations. And this one just kind of talks about the transition, what to expect over the first few weeks once your puppy's home. It talks about training. It talks about depression. Just a lot of good tips and tricks, especially for the beginning transition from our home into your home. And then the next thing that we're going to talk about is dog food. And so if you have gotten your contract, you have seen, and if you haven't, you'll have it in a few days, but if you have already gotten your contract and reviewed it before watching this video, you will see that we only support 3 different types of dog food, and that is Royal Canin, Hills, and Purina Pro Plan. And this handout talks about why. So this is a lot of good information here, and really tells you the why behind why our contract is set up how it is. Okay, the next thing, I'm so sorry, I really have to take a drink. It's a lot of talking, right? Okay, so the next thing in your packet talks about hypoglycemia. And if you do not know what hypoglycemia is, it is a drop in blood sugar. And everybody always wants the tiniest Yorkie, right? If I have somebody who's starting to be like 4 pounds and everybody else is starting to be 6 pounds, everybody wants that teeny tiny puppy. But I will tell you, the teeny tiny puppies are the ones that are more likely to suffer from hypoglycemia once they leave. And it is because the stress of the transition makes them not want to eat or drink. Mostly eat. You know, it's easy to grab a quick drink and then be on their way. However, to eat, they have to be comfortable. And so those teeny tiny ones, it does not take long for their blood sugar to drop because they are so tiny if they aren't eating. And so this just talks about hypoglycemia, what that looks like, and how it is life-threatening, and like you need to get your puppy to the vet and make sure that they have food and water, especially during the transition. And part of my warning is because our health guarantee does not cover hypoglycemia. And the reason it doesn't is because I can't monitor if you are feeding or not feeding your puppy or making sure that they are eating or not eating. And so if I think that your puppy is a puppy that is at risk for this, I will actually keep them longer. So if I have a really tiny puppy and they don't eat as much as I think they should already be eating, I will tell you like, hey, I want to keep your puppy a little bit longer. And it is always because of this, because I am afraid of this. I would not take it, I would let me do it because if your puppy has hypoglycemia at your house and you're not well equipped for it, it could easily be a $1,500 bill, very easily, because it is considered an emergency. And so a lot of times, if you're at work, you don't see what's happening, so you get home from work and now everything's closed, and here you are at the emergency vet, versus my whole job is to watch these dogs. And so I would notice right away, hey, Charlie hasn't eaten very much, he's looking like he might be down, and I can rush him up, get him some dextrose, get him some fluids, and get food in his belly, and he's back up before anybody even really knew he was down. So huge benefits if I do tell you that I would like to keep your puppy longer, to let me do that and not kind of get upset with me because I want to do that. I want to just make sure that the puppy stays safe and you don't get this huge vet bill. Okay, so that's what that talks about. Well, actually, it just talks about the symptoms, but I just added all the rest. And then this is a little handout from New Vet, which are the vitamins that we recommend. I'm a firm believer in these vitamins, and the handout is actually a 2-page handout, but it's a good read and tells you why we kind of think they're good stuff. And then the very last thing that you get in your packet is not something that I typed up. This is the only thing. This is the only thing in my burner handout and my Yorkie handout that has like information that I did not write up myself. But I found this online, and it is like spot on with the Yorkie. And so I thought, well, rather than me trying to rewrite this book, I'm just going to print it out for my people to read, because I think it is really good information, and it has great advice. And so overall, it just in general, it's a good informational handout, especially if you have never owned a Yorkie before. So that's the last thing in the handout. So we also send you home with like a toy that smells like home. It's usually just like a small squeaker toy, or something like that, and that's to kind of help the transition. I do really encourage for you to get the take-home blankets or a bed. The tinier your puppy is, the more so I even recommend that. And it's just to try to help encourage that transition without any missteps. The smaller dogs are such a fragile breed that any little thing that you can do to help is something that is beneficial. You're never going to regret it, I guess, is my point. So I would highly encourage something. So we send that little toy home, but I don't know what your plan is as far as when you get home, if that's always going to be available. So the blanket and the bed is something that they can cuddle up in, and it smells like home, it smells like mom, it smells like their siblings, and it really just helps their transition. So I hope that if you haven't taken advantage of that you consider it. And I think that's all I've got. So if you have any questions about what's in the packet, or if you have questions that I did not cover, I'm gonna just discuss one thing that's not really necessarily in the packet, and that is feeding. So I kind of talked about in the pickup appointment email that we do not recommend a kennel for the Yorkies, and that is because of the hypoglycemia. We want them to have a playpen where they always have access to food and water. And trust me, I understand that this is not ideal for like the potty training phase, but until your puppy is 1,000% comfortable at home, we do really encourage you to have access to food and water all the time. And my dogs are free fed, all of them, my adults, the big dogs, the little dogs, the puppies, everybody has access to food and water 24/7, even my potty training puppies. So I do understand if you have some hesitancy on this, but timed feeding at this age, especially during that transition, is not something that we would encourage. In fact, we would completely want to avoid, and that is because of the hypoglycemia risk. So I just did want to mention that I think that's important. So, but if you have any questions about what's in the packet, or if you have questions that I didn't cover, feel free to email me or text me, or you can write them down and we can discuss them at pickup. But we're one step closer. You watching this video means that it's almost time to pick up your baby. And I can't wait to meet you all and introduce you to your new puppy. All right, we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.